Well, good morning. It is 4 o'clock on the nose on Black Friday. I am crazy. Christopher here. Welcome to Spinning Round. A little bit of a different video today. Today is Black Friday, and of course, that means for us record fans, Record Store Day. So, hope you join me on this ride, which is a little bumpy today, but looking forward to seeing uh, what is in store for this morning. Happy Record Store Day, everyone, or shall I say Happy Ringo Starr Day. More on that in a minute. I have been so overwhelmed by the positive feedback and the number of subscriptions that have happened this past week because of the two videos that I released, and specifically the one on comparing the stereo mixes of Revolver. I am just so honored and thrilled. It was a surprise to see how well it's done, and I'm really hoping that in the future I can make some videos that have content that you're interested in watching. So my hope is that if you could, in the comments below, tell me what kind of things you'd like to see on this channel. I know one person said they'd like to know my feelings on the rest of the deluxe box sets of the Beatles, which that would be a huge undertaking, but I would do it if there's a demand for that. I'm hoping to do an episode on the great local Hamilton record stores as well, so that maybe someone outside the city coming into Hamilton might get some ideas on the great shops here and where they can go to get some good records. I'm back from my shopping trip at Dr. Disc, and although I didn't take any footage, I do want to share with you some of the purchases that I did buy today. I said Ringo Starr Day because surprisingly there were 4 different titles that were on tap today for Record Store Day. For those of you who don't know what Record Store Day is, I'm sure a lot of you do, it is a time when independent record stores get a chance to sell material that is exclusive only to them. And there are special releases for each Record Store Day, and they're limited. So you can only buy, one at a time of a particular item, and you have to be very careful in knowing that if you don't buy what you want now, you will pay probably through the nose, weeks later. So if there's something you really want, it's good to stand in line. I want to give a shout out to my Record Store Day posse, who happened to be the ones in line with me. This year I happened to get second in line. That's a first, so that was kind of fun. Mind you, there were only 11 people in line, and the store lets in 10 people at a time, so there you go. But I want to give a shout out to Vance, to Chelsea, and to Andy. Again, great record fans, great music fans. We had a lovely chat. As you know, I arrived minutes after 4 o'clock. Vance was ahead of me, and then Chelsea was behind me, and Andy was behind me. And it looks like we got everything we wanted, except for a couple titles I couldn't get. So the store I went to today is Dr. Disc. Dr. Disc is in Hamilton, in my hometown, and the owner, Mark, is an amazing guy and does great things for his client base. He's a great record store owner. He has 2 lovely helpers, Aaron and Madison, and it's always great to go into that shop. You feel like you're walking into a place that you kind of feel like it's home. Always feel welcome there. Today, with that particular store, they only allow 10 people in at a time, so basically the first 10 people get to go in, and everything is laid out in a very neat order. There are milk cartons of records. They're in alphabetical order, and basically you go in line, you don't jump the line, and you go through and pick your own titles. So, here are some of the ones that I got that I wanted to share with you today on my first video for a Record Store Day. All right. So, there were 2 titles that I didn't have on my list, but when I saw them, I thought, these look really interesting. So I thought, I think I'm going to try this one out. The first one is an issue by Elemental Music, which I've never had the pleasure of experiencing them yet as a record label. Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Going to a Go-Go. Here's some classic songs on a classic Motown Tamla record. And I just thought, I'm going to give it a try. I could probably hunt down the originals, but thought I would do this. It's on 140 gram vinyl, so it's not heavy, but we all know you don't have to have heavy vinyl to have good vinyl. So that was the first purchase that I wasn't expecting to buy, but I'm looking forward to hearing. For the second title that was kind of a surprise, but one that looked interesting, another Tamla Motown album. This is by the Great Supremes, Where Did Our Love Go? And of course, there are some classic songs on here. Baby Love, one of my great, Come See About Me. I just thought, I got to do it. And the hype sticker on the front says it's the second album by the Supremes. and it was released in 1964. And it also introduced the Motown sound to the masses and marked the highest ranking album by an all-female group. So I thought, you know what? I probably need that in my collection. So, and I may hunt out an original to see what they sound like, but yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing this one as well. As a 13-year-old in 1979, turning 14, I got turned on by a band called The Clash. And I heard the album London Calling, and my life was never really the same. I'm a huge fan of The Clash, and although you wouldn't think that I would be a huge fan, I really am. And I remember London Calling thinking it was one of the best albums I'd ever heard, and it really was life-changing. And I loved Sandinista after it, and of course then I started to follow a little bit of the solo work after the fact. And one of my heroes, Joe Strummer, Dark Horse, which is the label run by Donnie Harrison, George's son, which is great that he's carried on his dad's label and doing some really good reissue work. This is a live show at a record store on November 2nd of 1999, and I thought, you know what? Count me in. I would like this for sure. So that was my release. The one I did not get was the Dark Horse sampler, and looking back, I wished I had, but I thought, you know, I don't think I'm going to play it very often, so I thought I'd rather buy some other things, and if I find it in my travels, you know, in the next couple months, then maybe I'll commit to it. So now, the next one. This is why it was Ringo Starr Day today at Record Store Day, RSD. He had 4 titles that were on offer today. 2 were different versions of Ringo the Fourth, released by Friday Music, an orange vinyl version and a blue vinyl version. Sadly, Dr. Disc could not get those records in. Again, they're coming in from the States, and I guess Friday Music, it's hard to get some of that stuff in. And so I won't be able to hear the impeccable mastering by Joe Riagoso. I think that's how you pronounce his name, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, so this is the first one of the 2 that I was able to get of Ringo. So I didn't get the 2 of them, but I got 2 of the 4. This is a concert from 2019 at the Greek Theater. The Greek Theater looks a bit, you know, anyway, big in the Avengers. But anyway, or no, I guess not Avengers. It would have been Iron Man, right? It was Iron Man. This is an exclusive on yellow vinyl, 180 gram. And look at that. Kind of love that. So I'm looking forward to that. So in terms of the band, Santana, Black Magic Woman, Who Can It Be Now? So that would have been Men at Work. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing this. So, but if you've never seen Ringo Starr All-Star Band concert, they're great. I remember I was able to take my kids when he came to Massey Hall in Toronto before the pandemic, and we had such a great time. And insert photos there, Chris, to show people of the concert. All right. The other one, and we're getting to the last 2 records that I bought today. This is one of my more favorite Ringo solo albums, and it was originally released in 1983. I remember buying it in Toronto when it came out for the first time, Ringo Starr Old Wave. So this one, there's a bonus track that's included for the first time on the record, which is going, I think it's Going Down, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. No, As Far As We Can Go, there's an early version of that song, which is another song on here. I thought Joe did a great job on this record, producing it. And it's funny that Russ Ballard's name is added because I know he worked on it, but I think the original credit was for Joe. But anyway, there you go. Here's the back cover. Ringo and his sticks. Yeah, this was kind of a return to form for Ringo. One of my favorites, and definitely worth picking up if you can find it. This was always the hardest album to find. It was released in Canada, but I don't believe it was released in the States. Hence why they didn't. This is the perfect one to pick for Record Store Day. So I'm really looking forward to hearing how this sounds to the original Canadian pressing I have. So as you can see, there's lots of Ringo behind me. There's lots of Ringo ahead of me. Ringo Starr Day. Yay. Now, the great thing about local record shops, and I hope that if you get a chance today, if you don't get this too late, that you get a chance to go into an independent record store in your city and support them. With the recession, vinyl prices are starting to skyrocket, and a lot of us are going to start being very careful with the purchases we buy. And I'm hoping that my channel can help with you making decisions on what records you'd like to buy and add to your collection so you don't waste your hard-earned dollar. Here's another great thing that record stores do, and this is Dr. Disc. They're such an amazing store. What they do is there's a one-time coupon that they give you, and it's 20% off new and used vinyl. And it runs basically from November 26th to December 4th. So you can actually do some Christmas shopping with this coupon. And what they do is they give you this so that they want to keep the lines going on Record Store Day. Now, Black Friday is usually a slower day, so you don't find that it's as busy. So this is not as important, but the nice thing is, if you've been in line for 4 hours, they opened at 8 o'clock, I was there just after 4. It was cold today. It was about 6 degrees Celsius, so my feet near the end were getting kind of cold. It's nice to have this coupon to come back anytime you want and shop and maybe do some Christmas shopping or maybe something for that special person in your life, yourself. Vinyl, that's final. And the other thing, too, that's great about these record stores, and specifically Dr. Disc, did you miss an item? Was there a record you couldn't find? They will do their best to hunt it and find it for you. Great store. My last record was one that I also saw on the list, but wasn't really expecting that they would get a copy, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy it, but now that I saw it in the store, I'm really glad I did. This is Harry Chapin, Story of a Life, the complete hit singles. Harry Chapin, for those of you who don't know, was an amazing singer-songwriter. And he was not only that, a great storyteller, but he was a wonderful, enigmatic performer. I remember seeing him as a kid. My sister Debbie loved him, and it was one of her favorite artists. And she took me to see him at Melody Fair in Buffalo, and it was one of the top 5 shows in my memory. He got this, teenage punk up on his feet, singing and clapping to All My Life's a Circle. To do that takes a lot of power, and he was such a great performer, and he is so missed. So this record is unique because it is all the singles with the original single mixes. So again, probably, at that point some of them would have been stereo, because stereo mixes happened around 69, 70. I'm looking forward to hearing it, and I'm really glad that they've done this because people have kind of forgotten about Harry. And Harry was an amazing performer, and he was an amazing songwriter. So if you happen to see this in your shops, pick it up. We want people to know that Harry is still loved, and I was thinking of my sister Debbie today when I picked this up. So love you, Doties. So those are the purchases for today. Again, if you love records, get to your record stores. If you missed Record Store Day, sometimes your independent stores will have some stock left over. Go in, make some purchases. Hey, if you have a vinyl lover in your life, what better gift than to give them some music? So I encourage you to shop local. We all love Amazon, don't we? But this is the best. It's the best to go into a real record store to buy a physical copy of something and take it home. There's no bent corners because of the shipping. You get to enjoy it right away, too. I want to thank you again for your support. I'm honestly so blown away by the response to this channel, and we've only done 2 videos, and I can't wait to do the next ones. The Revolver ones are coming. In fact, I have so much content, we may do 2 more specific videos on Revolver. So hang tight. So this is Christopher from Spinning Round. Remember, records are meant to be played, so get them on the table and spin them round. We'll see you soon.